Good morning, traders. Today is Monday, August 15th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Welcome, welcome. If you have not yet, please smash that like button. Hitting that thumbs up first thing in the morning really helps out the channel, and I sure would appreciate it. All right, well, let's take a look at what we've got going on here in the markets. Well, Friday was a continuation of the breakout of balance. So we had sort of a channel going here where the market was trading inside a range. We broke out of that range. We had almost really two what you would consider kind of like rotational days balancing on top of that range. And then we finally got that full breakout, that full excess on Friday. So that is bullish for continuation to the upside, right? Balance leads to excess. If we were balancing for this many days, the odds that we're just going to get a 2-day push out of here and then the excess is over is a lower probability, right? This much balance will lead to excess to the upside. So starting off this morning, first things first, my focus is, can we keep the excess going? Can we keep the momentum in the market? The way that we would see that is by the end of the day today, we would have made a higher high on the daily and a higher low. And we also would have had value, this blue box that you see here, at the very least overlapping to higher like it was on Friday, if not completely higher, up at higher prices. Okay, that is what we need to see to keep the momentum going, to keep the trend going to the upside. So how would that play out here today? Well, we're opening inside the previous day's range. Opening inside the previous day's range increases the odds of chop. So we're expecting the market to grind up and down here when the market opens. I'll be looking for support first right around the overnight low, so right around 42.49. I'll be looking for that area to act as support. They may dip below a little bit, but as long as they come right back up into the overnight range, I would consider that support at the overnight low. So that's the area I'm watching for support. And then the area I'm watching for resistance, at least at the beginning of the morning, is this area right around 42.62, where we have this large node of volume from the overnight over the weekend. That was also where the sort of breakout, the momentum to the upside really kicked into gear. Turning that momentum into resistance will be bearish. So the first thing I'm looking for when the market opens is for it to chop between these two areas and just grind up and down. If we're able to get through the resistance right here at 62, we will then target the next resistance up around 72. Again, still for chop. If we're able to get through that, if we're able to get through 42.72, the target becomes testing the overnight high. If we're able to get above the overnight high, we look for support there to head up and test Friday's high. If we get above Friday's high and we get support there, we look for continuation to the continuation to the upside. There's really just no way to know when you're inside the previous day's range. You just don't know. Is this just going to be a short-term little push, or is this real momentum that's going to keep going? So you got to, measure what's happening along the way. Can you get through this resistance? Can you get through this resistance? Can you get above this high and find support? Can you get above this high and find support? That's what monitoring for continuation higher looks like. That to me is the most likely scenario. The second most likely would be just grinding around all day inside the previous day's range. That is also a possibility for today. And then door number 3, the thing that I see as the least likely, would be the market pulling back down here into the 42.40 area, or really 42.36 area here, looking for support, and it cannot find support here to keep the chop going. If that happens, if we pull back down here, just to be really conservative, actually, let's say 42.34. If we start to pull back down below that level, that is really bearish, right? Or just that is bearish, because that is a sign that the momentum is coming to an end, right? The momentum that we see from overlapping to higher value, that would be a sign that that's coming to an end if we start to trade back below here. So at that point, breaking 34, I would be monitoring for continuation lower, okay, to come back and repair the poor lows we left behind. But again, to me, that is the least likely scenario. Most likely, we get chop for a couple hours this morning, and then we start to head higher. Second most likely, we just chop all day inside yesterday's range. And then the least likely scenario is a sell-off to head back down to repair the weakness around 4,200. Oh, the other reason that 34 will be an important area is because of the look above and fail of the breakout of balance. So if we have a previous balance area, we break out to the upside, and then we pull back down in there, well, then that's very, very bearish for continuation to the opposite end. So we want to see the market find support here and head higher as a continuation of this move. But first, chop. Lots and lots of chop. We've got 146 heroes hanging out here this morning. Good morning to all of you and welcome. If you wouldn't mind just clicking that little thumbs up button or the thumbs down. Honestly, if you're just not having a good day, it's okay. You can click the thumbs down. But just getting some interaction will really, really help the stream. And I sure would appreciate it. And we're off. The market is open. Let the chop begin. So the A period low here is considered weak because it stopped right at a weak reference from Friday. So that is in need of repair as we are pushing up, looking for resistance. Chop zone, chopping it up. Buyers and sellers duking it out. Who's gonna win this morning? Nobody knows. So the survey is out. Let me know what you think. Where's the market going to go today? Are we getting continuation of this trend higher? Does the market just need a day to cool off and hang out inside yesterday's range, inside Friday's range? Or are we heading lower? Is this thing looking to crash and burn? Let me know what you think in the survey. 175 people hanging out, only 36 votes. Don't be scared. It's anonymous. No one will know what you picked. All right, so we got good taper at the high. Normally less than 100 contracts would kind of catch my eye as needing a little more two-sided trade. But with 8 contracts, it's such a low number, I'll just write it off as a fluke. So that doesn't mean this will be the high of the day. We're still in a chop zone, but that if it was the high of the day, it would be a good high. And that frees the market up to head down and repair that weak low. Well, there goes the good taper. So now, as making good taper the last time gave us the signal that we might be ready to head lower, bad taper this time tells us we need more chop. Need some more two-sided trade up there. All right, as we get pinned in this really tight little range here, just note whichever way we break, we'll get a little pop, get a couple of point move, as one side will get squeezed. Is it a pop up into 69 looking for resistance, or a pop back down to repair that weak low we left behind? Let's wait and see. All right, well, only 68 votes on the survey. I'm a little disappointed, guys. We don't want to participate on a Monday morning. It's too early, Charles. Don't make us predict what the market's going to do. It's not like that's our job or anything. All right, well, we are as split down the middle as you could possibly be. 35% looking for a sell-off, 32% looking for a move to the upside, and 32% looking for us to go nowhere. You know what that tells me? Buckle up, kids. We're about to get some chop. It's probably going to take a couple hours to change people's minds one way or another. And we are pushing up into resistance. And you know what that means. They're getting ready to chop back down. Okay, good taper again at the high. All right, so the NQ is looking more bullish than the ES this morning. NQ opening still inside the previous day's range, but immediately heading up to test the overnight high, pushing above it, then getting above Friday's high, pushing above there. So that was bullish. That move was bullish. You got value completely higher. That is bullish. So you've now got a signal in the NQ of a continuation of the momentum that's been happening on the daily. You got higher highs and higher lows and value higher. So that is bullish to see. I would also consider the low weak on the NQ as well, just because of its exactness with the top of the single prints from Friday, the K period. So it looks like you got chop on the NQ as well, but it is more bullish than the ES. And so we're looking for that support, probably around 13,520 for the chop to continue. Scuball, but support didn't hold at NQ. That is true. It would have been more bullish if they found new buyers above yesterday's high. But we're in a chop zone, right? We're expecting the ES to go up and down for no reason at all, right? Not because it's bullish, not because it's bearish, but because the traders are short-term traders who are just scalpers. They're in and out very, very quickly, and there's no leadership yet. We know that from the survey in the chat. 30% down, 30% up, 30% sideways. There's just uncertainty in the market. That's what you're getting in a chop zone. But what I'm saying with getting above yesterday's high on the NQ is it's a first signal of bullishness. So we're still in a chop zone, but it's giving us a clue that it wants to break to the upside. Arcaleon. So if you want to fade the chat, shut your screen off and go touch grass. I would say if you want to fade the chat, what you should do is buy an option strategy that allows you to, like a butterfly or, broken wing, iron condor or whatever, one of those type of things where it allows you to trade for rotation. Then buy some ES long and buy some MES short. That's how you fade the chat. Cover yourself on both sides. It's a perfect strategy. You can't go wrong. Chilling with Dylan, talking Fed at 9:50. Talking Fed at 9:50. All right, folks, it's 9:50. Time to talk Fed. It's 10:50. We have an hour. Great. Then we have an hour of chop. All right, market once again pushing up into resistance, creating good taper. Can we get these ticks above the zero line? Can we bring in some new buyers up here to break through this resistance? Or are we heading back down to repair that weak low? Scooball, this chop is to the upside? Could be. You know me, brother. I'll believe it when I see it. I got to see them get above the resistance and turn it into support. Still feels like chop to me. But yeah, it's a little more bullish. The ticks will tell. They'll let us know if we got new buyers or not. Okay, so now that we broke through that resistance, the question is, can it become support? So can this area between 71 and 66 now become support? If so, the target is testing the overnight high up at 42.78. So I'm going to put support question mark here because it's not confirmed yet. They could just as easily chop right back down. Okay, so the market was able to get the ticks above the zero line. Okay. Overnight inventory was net short, and they were able to bring in enough momentum to get all the way back to the zero line. Here is where we find out, is it just chop? Are we going to instantly run out of momentum and head right back down? Or can new buyers step in, holding us above this zero line? That would be bullish to see. We're looking to stay above zero. All right, so I'm now bullish to test the overnight high. If we can get above the overnight high at 42.7850 and find support, I'll be looking to test Friday's high at 42.83, monitoring for continuation from there. Okay, there's the test of the overnight high. Ed, is spike rules definition one of the most asked questions? Did not find in Webster's dictionary. Webster's isn't on spike rules? What's the deal? No, I think spike rules are the most underappreciated thing in market profile theory. No one ever cares about spikes. I freaking love spikes. They are such a good signal that you're going to carry forward momentum into the next day. It really surprises me how little people take them into account. So I would say that is an under-asked question. Damn it, ask me about gaps more often. All right, we got a low volume node right here at 42.75, looking for a backfill and then support. Abigail, NQ bullish? Let's take a look. Yes, ma'am. So NQ has got a continuation of the trend on the daily. Higher highs, higher lows. Value higher. Bullish. It is now above yesterday's high. Bullish. So the only indication that's left, and it may have already happened and I just wasn't watching the queue at the time, the really only test that we have left is, do we find support at yesterday's high on a retest? But once you're above it and you're getting new business above it, that is bullish. That there are still buyers. There is still momentum in the market. So I would say look for support on a pullback at 13,594 to like 13,584 area. If they find support there, that is buyable. And for monitoring for continuation higher, which is bullish. It's also worth noting when we're talking about the daily, the NQ just broke out of that massive downtrend as well on the daily. All right, breaking out of a massive downtrend. Think about this as balance. If balance leads to excess, is this it? Is this all the excess we're going to get out of this much freaking balance? I doubt it. We could have just unlocked a big move higher. And we could be in the very early days of it. But of course, I'd need to check my crystal ball to be sure. Okay, finding support at the overnight high is bullish. We're getting new business up here. Still got a low volume node at 42.75 that needs backfilling. So that means they're bullish, but they're getting a little ahead of themselves. They're getting a little overly long, a little too fast. Market's like, I'll show you overly long, overly fast, testing yesterday's high. That is, of course, bullish. This is short covering, which was all the sellers from earlier in the day. Finally giving up and getting squeezed out of their trades. We've also now got value pushing right up against the high of the day. Of course, value is developing throughout the day, so if the market were to sell off, it could pull it back down. But right now, with value being right up against the high of the day, that is a sign that the market needs some more excess to the upside. So we are looking for support here. Once we backfill this level at 75.50. RK, laying in bed at 5:50 a.m. rather than just cover my short. Should have recognized that support at 49. Oh, you were in a trade from the overnight, I see. All right, so there's the backfilling of that low volume node. We like to see at least 200 contracts. So now the question is, can the market find support? Halfback at 42.71 sure would be a great place for it. Uh, MBBQ, I hate getting stopped out in the micros at a higher price than the minis trade. Yeah, it's rare, but I know what you mean. It does happen, especially if the market comes within like a tick or two of your support level that you got your stop at. Sometimes the micros will fill and the minis wouldn't. Such is life. Cost of doing business. But I get it. It's annoying. That's one of the reasons why long ago I learned you have to always put your orders like a tick or two above what you're targeting. So like if you're long targeting the overnight high, you always want to put your order to take profits like just right below it. You don't ever want to put it right at that overnight high, because so many times it'll come in and you'll just get caught between the bid and the ask, and it'll turn around and head down and you don't get to take profits. It's really annoying. So I always front run whatever level I'm trading at by at least a tick or two, so I don't have to feel those frustrations. Screwball, same thing with stop losses. Yeah, except you want to do the opposite with stop losses. You want to give them an extra tick or two to breathe, rather than taking profit where you want to take it a tick or two sooner. But yeah, same principle. All right, we're getting some support. Ticks pushing their way back above the zero line. Can they get back above yesterday's high? Get back above 42.84 area? Oh, for the members of the brigade, you guys may have some trouble logging in this morning. I moved the website to a new hosting service over the weekend. So, your computer, if you are automatically logged in, you may have to log in again. If for whatever reason you run into any problems, just reset your password. Just click the forgot password button and just reset it. And that should get you going. And hopefully it'll be the last time. Hopefully with this new hosting service, all these problems we've had should be a thing of the past. But of course, the email will still go out today. John, I love your analogy, but I guess because I'm too old for Pink Panther references, I have no idea what any of it means. The market is like the Pink Panther. In the episode where Pink is trying to stay awake, but by blinking, bloodshot eyes, see a mouse, the FUD, approaching, the big hammer, and then boom. I have no idea what any of that means, but I assume it's a good analogy for what's going on in the market. Now, if you want to know what's happening in the market right now, look back at that survey that we took in the morning. 30% of us thought it was going up. 30% of us thought it was going down. 30% of us thought it was going sideways. So what's happening now is we're just very, very slowly convincing people to become bullish. So at this point, I'm still looking for support and to head back above yesterday's high. But if we can't, we're going to start to chop again. We're going to start to rotate. Because it means we just don't have the buyers yet. But let's see. Let's see if this support can hold first. Scooball says, I'm losing that bullish feeling. Yeah, that resistance at the overnight high was a little bit less than bullish just now. It looked more like the way chop would work, more like uncertainty. But that's the nice thing about rotation. Every time you rotate down, you convince more people to go long. Is it enough this time? Let's find out. Looking for support right here. Charles, why does the halfback matter? Well, it's a human psychology thing. So, at the moment that the A period broke yesterday's high, somewhere in the world, there was somebody that saw that happened and it made them bullish. It made them want to buy the market, but they weren't ready to pay full price. They weren't ready to buy it at the high. Well, halfback is a 50% off sale. Everyone loves 50% off. That's just a great deal. Gotta have it. So that's why that halfback often acts as support. But if it breaks now and we start to head lower, well, then we know that narrative is gone. The narrative that we have new buyers that want to do business is gone. And the chop continues. All right, and with that support starting to break, I am back to neutral. I would say, just for what it's worth, I am way more bullish than anything else, but it doesn't seem we have the buyers just yet. And if we don't have the buyers just yet, and we got a magnet tugging on price down here from that week low, well, that's less than bullish of a scenario to find oneself in. So I am neutral. But if we can get support and get back above the overnight high, then I'll get bullish once again. We've also got potential support, both indices on the 20 moving average, on the 15-minute candles, as we test that. Okay, so that 20 moving average is working on the Q for the moment as support. Can it continue to hold? Hanji, the data from today indicates recession. Man, I don't know. I've got to figure out a way to convince you guys to stop thinking like that. The data doesn't matter. We're day traders. It doesn't matter. What's happening, bigger picture of the world, has nothing to do with what's happening intraday today with the market. It just doesn't. Okay, once again, grinding on that 20 moving average. The bots are buying. Is it enough to hold up the market? If not, I think both indices are heading down to repair those weak lows. If the bots that buy the 20 moving average can't hold up the market here. All right. It would appear the lows are now in play. We are back in chop. We're back in 30% thinking it's going to go up, 30% thinking it's going to go down, 30% thinking it's going to go sideways. Indecision. Alrighty then, folks. Well, with the printing of the C period here, we've set ourselves up with a pretty easy signal to follow. And that is breaking the initial balance, or in this case, breaking the A period. So if we're able to get our way back above yesterday's high and break the A period high, we could look for continuation of the trend to the upside. If we break the A period low, we would see that as the market starting to one time frame lower. Of course, there's still so many different support and resistance levels in here. There's lots of reasons for the market to flip and reverse. So I wouldn't be quite as bearish if we broke the overnight low. If we broke the A period low, as I would be bullish if we broke the A period high. But that would be a sign that we are beginning the momentum to the downside. So I wouldn't be looking to buy until that momentum was broken, but I wouldn't be too bearish right away. There's certainly plenty of area here for the market to find support around these overnight lows, and plenty of reason for it to come test it with all the weakness we left behind on Friday and this morning. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I feel like we're in a chop zone. I'm slightly more bullish than I am bearish. And if we break the initial balance to the upside, I will get very, very bullish for continuation of the momentum on the daily. With that, I bid you all farewell, au revoir, all the best. If you are a member of the brigade, give me about 2 minutes and I'll get that email out to everyone with the link. And I'll see you in the private stream. Party on, guys. The market is in chop zone.